Hey, everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. Welcome for those of you who are the first time watching my show. Welcome for those of you who have been here before. Welcome back. This is season 3, episode 27. Actually, that's right. Someone asked me the other day if was faking it or not, but it has been 3 seasons. And for those of you who are new, I like to try to bring a little something different than what's out there in the world right now as far as YouTube podcasts go. I live in Cedar Park, right on the border of Cedar Park and Austin. And I started this as about, like I said, 3 years ago after I started doing beer reviews. This show is comprised of different things. Sometimes I'll have people on the show. I'm still looking to see if I can get a co-host every now and then so that we can have a conversation back and forth, and it's not just me sitting here in front of a camera. Um, and I will talk to and interview people when I can, like I said, for things that they're passionate about. Um, Book writing, uh, physics, wines, excuse me, tamaladas, tamale making episodes. Um, let's see, hair salon locally, soap makers locally, Crazy Stacy and her jelly, also her Be the Light craft fair, which there's another one coming up in November. So a lot of different things. I try to keep it moving as much as possible. I try when it's just me. I try to see if I can keep it shorter than normal. But I have a lot of things going on, and I'm beginning to start getting some good feedback, especially from my Walking the Trash Hood episodes and my Zen moment. And last week I got a good suggestion for some tea, sun tea, which I'm gonna make next weekend, and I'll get back to that individual about that. So, a couple of things that I got from last week. Yes, this is looking longer. It is definitely a lot of white in there now. Should see pictures of me from 10 years ago. But I'm letting it grow out just to see, because why not? I can let it grow out. My hair does grow like a chia pet, so it grows very fast. So I thought I'd try it out, but thanks for checking whether I was actually growing it out or not. And then also, thanks for a lot of people that have been watching me on Nextdoor. Actually, not watching me, watching pictures of the trash I've been picking up in the neighborhood. Got a lot of good feedback for that. Thank you, everyone. As to that, I am not looking to be a trash warrior or eco warrior. I am not trying to really shame people because I'm not showing the people's houses or anything. I'm just showing the trash after I come back from my walk. So if you feel shamed, then shame on you, and maybe you're one of the guilty parties that are having some of the trash that I'm picking up. For anybody who wants to get started, and I've had a couple people ask me that on Nextdoor. You can, I would take with you a set of gloves, latex or outdoor garden gloves. I take with me an old HEB bag, one of the better than just plastic ones, and I take that with me on my walk. I usually have it folded up, and I'm probably less than a minute in, I'm already having to open up the bag and pick up some trash. I recommend washing your hands before and after. Definitely one of those deep washes like we were doing when we were having COVID originally. And I would take pictures of it. If you don't feel comfortable posting on Nextdoor the trash that you picked up, certainly send me the picture and I'll start adding it to my weekly podcast so you can see it. So let's just and I try different routes and everything. So let me show you what I got this week, and I'll tell you some of the streets that I went down. So let's check it out. Okay, so here was day one, week two. I actually made $1.25 for my efforts. You see some strange items in there. Bunch of some more Truly beverage, vape, all on and on and on, and some weird bits of plastic and a glove. Day two, you see, I found a lot of cigarette butts, box of cigarettes, empty, more pieces of plastic and metal, and just continuing to find odds and ends of different things. Day three is going to be interesting. So, boom, day three, beverage containers and Amazon box, a truck mat, more cigarette butts, a bunch of vape cartridges, the letter S, and other bits of plastic and whatnot, and a mylar balloon. So that was interesting. So we go into the next day. More truly, some cores continue to find cigarette butts, a cigarillo tip, more vape cartridges, vape boxes this time, some plastic to-go top container, another empty cigarette box, and some more plastic like water bottles and stuff like that. So really crazy. This is day five. Not too much on the cigarette butts, but now bigger pieces of like cloth and plastic and a vape cartridge and some pens and some cardboard and just overall just so no day six because I was actually working on my yard, which you'll see later. And here's day seven. This morning I went out there. I made a penny for my efforts. About 53 cigarette butts. I was on a new location, and plastic water bottle caps, and I decided to make it a little smile just for my efforts. It was a good time. Right. So, all right. So there you have it. If you're not familiar with my neighborhood, you won't know some of the streets I go down, but mainly I come off of Hickory, and I'll go up or down El Salito Parkway. So I either go up to 620 or I go down the other way, which eventually bottoms out at Cypress Creek. So I haven't gone that far yet on El Salito because what I like to do is go onto the side streets. So some of the streets I visited this week, um, Texas Oak Way, Spider Lily View, Hatch, crossing over Hatch, Red Bay, um, Cat Hollow, I think is the name of it, Mesquite, Oak Glen. Uh, I think those are some of the most that some of the a lot of what I had. So, if you'd like me to cruise down your neighborhood and see what I find, drop me a note in the comments, and I will try to get to it. This week I am working from home, so I will be out and about first thing in the morning, which usually I have some different items that I find. So I'm really disturbed and disappointed that I'm finding a lot of cigarette butts. First of all, I didn't think a lot of people smoked anymore, and it could be that it's not a lot of people. It could be it's just a handful of people that are smoking that happen to be cruising our neighborhood or live in our neighborhood and dropping them everywhere. So this morning was a new route for me, so I hadn't been down it before. And when I walk, I usually go up one side of the street and come down the other side of the street. So on my way back is where I found the large number of cigarette butts. In fact, most of them I found in front of two houses, which I'm not going to go into who they are. And I noticed that there was twice as many cigarette butts in the grass as opposed to on the street. Now, one of the rules that I follow is I don't pick up anything that's wet. I don't pick up anything organic like dog poop, not even if it's in the bags. And then I don't pick up anything that's not on public property. So if you don't have a sidewalk, I consider your entire yard yours. None of it part of the public property, though I think the city has a different thing about it. If you have a sidewalk, I will go on the small portion of the sidewalk as opposed to what would be considered your yard on the other side of the sidewalk. So just some handy dandy tips. I don't want to disturb anybody and get them mad at me for being in their yard, so I am strictly staying in the public areas. Okay, so I know that's kind of a downer. Um, it's not pleasant to see, but it's what's happening in our neighborhood. So I thought I took it upon myself last week to just start picking things up. And right now we are 2 weeks in. Tomorrow for me, my week starts on Monday. So tomorrow, week three, will be going. And my goal is to just keep going out there. And if there's trash, I'll pick it up. Ideally, my dream would be that I go out there and I never find any trash, but I know that's not going to happen. There will be continue to be trash. Hopefully, none of it causes any issues in your cars or any issues with your kids or with your pets or anything like that. Hopefully, I'm picking up a large amount of stuff so that it doesn't cause any issue for anybody else. So that's it for the trash in the hood. I still need to come up with a good name. If anybody has a good name for what I'm doing, that's fun, maybe a tongue-in-cheek, a pun, or something like that, send it to me, and I'll give you cred for it, and I'll put it on here. Um, so, next I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about my yard. Like I said, I skipped day 6, which was yesterday, Saturday, so I had to work on my yard. So I've been working on my yard slowly but surely. A lot of it has been I get lazy and I get off, I procrastinate and get on a different project and that sort of thing. But I finally got to a good spot on the trunk. So for those of you who don't know, who haven't, or just new to the show, once again, welcome. But what happened was during the different freezes this year and last year, my ash tree died. So I had to cut it. Now my ash tree in my backyard was dead center, which by the way, whoever planted that for this house, thank you. It's awesome that it was dead center in the yard. Yeah, it caused some issues with grass growing and everything, but the fact that it was dead center brought a lot of shade to my backyard. And during the hot days, even if the grass is dead or not growing, I was looking forward to it. Well, I had to cut it down. So I decided, I saw some things on Pinterest and I saw some things on different other places on the internet, and I thought it would be cool to try to do something different with the trunk. So, that being said, I had Benny's Tree Service come and they cut down my tree, left me about 4 foot of trunk of my Arizona ash, and I started doing some stuff with it. So what I wound up doing was a little project that I got the trunk project done. I haven't finished with the ring around it, or havhenge, however you want to call it. So take a look at these videos and see what I did. Okay, so here is 95, maybe 97% complete, the trunk project. So as you see here, that is the stone project that goes around the trunk. Some people have laughingly referred to this as havhenge. So what you see here, this is green stain that's meant for wood or anything else you want to stain. And as you see there, that's almost complete. And this is actually runes, Slavic runes, which doesn't really change much, obviously, when it comes to Slavic and English letters. And then this is Icelandic runes, also saying the same thing. And then we have down here my signature, artist signature. And then we have this area which is going to be painted with something. Hopefully the paint will come out. If not, it's just going to be a big green circle and I'll have to do something else with it. So, and then finally on top, I have here Dallas, Fernando, Antonio, Adriana, I always forget which way to pronounce that, Maximiliano, and Ashlyn. So those are my nieces and nephews. And so I thought it'd be cool to put that on there. And then what I'm going to do now is, what I did was sanded it multiple times down to a 220, made it nice and smooth. And then I'm going to shellac this, and I'll show you how it looks after I shellac it. Okay, so trunk project 99% done now. I am using Zenser shellac, and I'm going to go around the tree. So as you notice, took it down about 2 shades darker than what it was. Remember previously I had sanded it down. Yesterday I painted, stained and painted the trunk. And now I've gotten one coat of shellac done, which took that pint. I will go probably tomorrow and get another one and apply another coat all the way around like I just did. And then I will be done. So I'm about 99% done. And then I'll start working on this part. Very special project for this. I know I've been lagging on it, but you're going to see something really great with it. So there you go. Well, here we go. It's the final of the trunk project. You can see everything. So it turns out shellac has different density, clarity, opacity, however you want to say it. So this actually was like, the first round was like a brown, somewhat brown, which I think turned out really nice. I actually like it that it came out. This second coat I did was clear, so you can see, didn't darken it at all, of course, because it's clear. So I went around everything again, coated some areas I hadn't coated that I missed the other day, and then I went ahead and just poured it, about half of it left, poured it on top like pancake syrup, let it seep into the cracks, and then went around, see if it was coming out in different places, and it was, and then I brushed that down. So this is pretty much going to be the life of the house. This should be here as long as I'm here. So that's the trunk project. Alright, so on top of the trunk project is the ring hob hinge, the sand so far project. So I finally got all the sand that I had out and sifted down. I'm probably going to need about, I say probably 4 more bags. So I don't want to tell you how many bags this has been. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get it as level as I can, and then I'll work on the next part of the project. And I'm back. So you see what's going on with the project, the trunk project, I think, except for and by the way, that's a green man that's in the front, that green blob type of thing. You have to get really close to see what it looks like, and I did a horrible job, but I already had it there, so I had to leave it, and it was in green stain, so there was no way I was going to be able to like just paint the entire trunk green. That would just look weird. So anyway, I added it. If you want to figure out or you need some help and some guidance on how to do that to your trunk in your yard, front or back, shoot me a line and drop me a message somewhere, and I'll get back to you and give you some guidance on that. Like for example, I thought about sanding it, which I did, but I was like, well, what should I do? And I realized and I remembered, like for other things that I have to do with wood, you want to do different grains till you get to the highest grain possible so that it's really, really smooth. So I went in this order of grain. I guess that's what you call it for sandpaper. I'm not overly familiar with it. Or grit, I should say. There's the word. So I did 60 grit on my handheld circular sander, 80 grit, 120, 180, and then 220. And the reason why I picked those is because that was what was available at Lowe's. So I picked those grits and I sanded the entire trunk all the way around and the top. It was cut kind of weird, so there's some ups and downs on the top, and so it's not perfectly smooth level on top, but it's pretty good. And so I went all the way around the trunk and the top, sanded it in all different grits till I finished up with 220. So that was really, really smooth. And when I found out about the shellac is that the first round, and you saw it in the video, and that's why I know now. The first coat I did of shellac was actually amber. which I think turned out great. Every time I go out and look at it, it looks better and better to me. And then the second coat I did with clear. So I didn't want to go any darker with it. I didn't want it to start getting too dark. So I think the one coat of amber and then the clear on top of that makes it just look fantastic. And so it's being heat cured as we speak over the weekend, and it's just better and better as the shellac cures on that trunk. Also, I poured a lot of it into the cracks to fill it up because it is an ash tree, and ash tree are really, once they die, they get really soft and kind of crumbly and dry out really quick. So I'm not happy that I took too long to get it, but I'm happy now that I did it by adding the shellac to it. So if you're going to do something with a trunk like this or anything with the trunk and you're not trying to get rid of it, I highly recommend shellac, which is really meant for coating for woodwork outside. That's going to be outside. So and I use Zinsler, and it was really good, really easy to apply. So there's that. Stay tuned for the stone project that maybe I can get done by next week. I doubt it. It's going to take me a couple of trips to the hardware store and picking up materials. I won't say what they are. Okay, so now I'm going to make this a little bit shorter than normal. I don't have a Zen moment for today. I have been getting some requests to bring it back, along with poetry from Jay Anderson. So I will be doing that hopefully next week. But we will be going into Spirit Times. I have a beer review that I did today. Brother Rob came by with some beer, but I already had some beer from the Boutique, which, by the way, happy 3rd year anniversary to the Boutique bottle shop out here in Cedar Park, which I highly recommend. But yeah, so let's take a look at one of the beers today. A nice, tasty little porter, and it's very interesting on the flavor. So let's take a look. Hey everyone, Spirit Times today, coming to you remotely and at a different time than normal. This is, let me put on my peepers here, age myself. This is Hardywood Baltic Sunrise. Baltic Sunrise. This is a Baltic porter with locally roasted coffee beans. And Hardywood, it's Hardywood Park Craft Brewery out of Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, Virginia. This is a 9.4 porter. I don't have glasses today, so I'm just going to freehand it. Really good. I can really taste the roasted coffee beans. It's got a little bit of a bite to it, a little bit of a kick to it. Kind of like what you would find with the porter, so not bad at all. Pretty good. I think it would go well with like coffee cake or maybe coffee ice cream. Definitely coffee thing. Maybe some chocolate. Like thick, dark chocolate with a high percentage of cacao in it. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. So Hardywood Park out of Richmond, Virginia. I'm gonna give you 7.5 thumbs up. That's 7.5 thumbs up on our scale of 1 thumb to 10 thumbs. And if you have a chance, I got this. I did not go and visit Hardywood Park in Richmond, Virginia. I did go and get this from the Boutique. So if you have a chance to go see Scott and Jana out there, go and say hello to them. Tell them I sent you. You won't get anything, but tell them I sent you anyway. And happy 3rd anniversary last weekend for the Boutique. 3 years. I've been going to them almost 3. They're fantastic. If they don't have what you're looking for, they will get you something else and it'll be even better. So this is Baltic Sunrise once again out of Hardywood Park. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that beer review. I know I did. And so I almost forgot, but I wanted to bring up um, the bottom line, which will be our last segment. Previously on the bottom line, we talked about salaries and we talked about work from home. So I wanted to touch base on that. I had some people send me some great feedback talking about how it really is a matter of choice. If you want to work from home and you only want to work from home, then you need to find a job that will allow you to work from home all the time. But don't be surprised if there are a lot more jobs that are out there that are going to be hybrid. So along those lines, I was reading an article this week that talked about salary expectations for new people going into the workforce. So they did a study, and I don't have the article, but you can certainly find it by just searching for college graduate salary expectations. I think is how I found it. And I don't know why I was looking for that, but the article said they surveyed thousands of upcoming graduating seniors from universities and asked them what their salary expectation was. Well, it turns out from the group that the sample group that they surveyed, that the salary expectation for outgoing seniors into the workforce was between $40,000 and $50,000 more than what the average salary was. So, for example, they're talking about somebody in the liberal arts. For people that were in the liberal arts graduating, they were expecting salaries anywhere from the high 80s into the 100,000 a year. The average salary of a liberal arts student graduating from college as of today the range is between $45,000 to $52,000. So there's a huge disconnect between people coming out of college and their expectation. Now, I know some of that probably has to do with their parents and friends and family who are wanting to keep everything on a positive light, and they're like, yeah, you're going to do great, you're going to make money, you're going to do well. But the reality is that graduating from college doesn't mean you're going to make a six figure salary right away. It's just not going to happen. It's just not how the reality is. So what the problem, part of the problem is, again, like we said, the level of expectation. Now, you want to be positive for your kid, and you want to be positive for your friends that are going through college, and you want to make sure that they, finish what they started and they can get a better career, and they can get a better career more often than not always, but more often than not, by finishing up and getting a college degree. However, there should be at some point an expectation given to these people that it's not all going to be wine and roses. Sometimes it's going to be pseudo wine and weeds, or however you want to equate that. So it's tough. You want to make sure your kid and or your friends are going through and doing well, but that the reality is that they may not make the money that they're expecting. I know I've talked to some young people. I know that makes myself really old, but I talked to some young people that are currently in college or just fresh out of college, and they had the same issues. The ones that are currently in college are thinking that they're going to come out making a six-figure salary. Now, they're not in the engineering field, and they're not in the scientific world, and so it's probably not going to happen for them. Now, for the ones that are in the engineering world and are in the scientific field, you may not get the same thing either. So don't be surprised, because salaries have not been keeping up with inflation when it comes to starting salaries. So you need to find a happy middle ground for your child or for your friend or even for yourself. Coming out of college, you may not get the money that you were expecting. I'm not saying hoping. We're always hoping that we can make the best money we can. I'm talking expecting. The people that I've talked to are expecting to make high 5 to 6 figure salaries coming right out of college with no experience in the field they're graduating from. And it's just not realistic. It's just not. So You have to find a way to personally find a way to talk to these individuals and try to help them out a bit. You want to keep them positive, you want them to finish what they're doing, but you also have to make them aware that on the other side being the workforce, you may not find that money that you are expecting. You may not find it for a few years. You may have to get some skills under your belt and some experience under your belt, and it's just not as easy as people think, and it's just not as easy as what people tell you as to why one of the reasons why you should go to college. So the bottom line is here is that salaries have not been going up commensurate to inflation. They're not as good as people like to sell them when they talk about their jobs. And kids coming out of college and universities, remember that life isn't always what you expect it to be, and neither are salaries. And that's the bottom line from me. Thanks a lot.